Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Thanks so much for stopping by, I do appreciate you spending a little time with Grandpa today. Today's beer comes from Transplants Brewing Company. This is their black label, which is a barrel-aged version of their Black Bayou. This was sent to me by Robert, and he writes another local brewery to where he lives in Palmdale. It's well-made barrel-aged beer. There's no date on the bottle, but it was picked up at the end of last year. It was purchased from the brewery where he picked it up himself, and they're a small brewery that doesn't really distribute it, but they make a ton of creative beers that are rather good. This is an 8.9% beer, being a barrel-aged vanilla coffee Imperial Stout. Being brewed with coffee, you need to drink these pretty fresh, and he picked it up at the end of last year, so hopefully we're going to get some coffee notes on it still. This is probably not a cheap bottle of beer to buy. So once again, thanks to Robert. Beer Advocate has the Black Bayou or Bayou listed there, but they don't have the black label, which is the barrel-aged version of it listed. These guys are out in California, so couldn't find it on Beer Advocate, guys. I looked and looked, and they have the original before they barrel aged this beer. They had it, which was a 7%er, but now that they barrel aged it, it's 8.9%. So a little bit bigger version once they put it in those bourbon barrels for a while. And I don't know how long they left it in there and how much bourbon notes we're going to get. We're about to find out. Untapped says it's a bigger, badder, bourbon-aged version of their Black Bayou Vanilla Imperial Coffee Stout. So, if the coffee was added before it was put in the barrel, that even makes the coffee notes even fade a little further, depending on how long they left it in the barrels. And whether they were first-run barrels, when I say first runs, first time it's had beer in it after the bourbon was in it. So, no IBUs, 8.9%. So, it's got some kind of red tape on here, so let's see if we can get that peeled off. I don't think he put that on there. It looks like something maybe the brewery may have done. I don't know. He may have put it on there. I'm not sure. Looks like red electrical tape, so I don't know. Don't know if he did it or it come that way. Anyway, we're about to find out. Like this, a little bit of smoke. And this is a little bit bigger bottle. This is a 500 milliliter. Let's go down the center, straight down the center pour on this. Can't quite get it all in there, but we will pour it off camera. Straight down the center, about a half a finger of head on that pour. It looks pitch black, guys. I'm not getting any light at all. Maybe a little red ruby tinges at the very bottom of the thin part of the glass. So, to the nose we go. Oh yeah, the bourbon notes are definitely there. That smells awesome. Awesome. Rich roasted malt, hints of some licorice or some black molasses, caramel, toffee. The bourbon notes are front and center though. I mean, they're front and center. Taking up front seat, back seat. They're taking up all the seats. That smells absolutely fantastic. Not getting big coffee notes on the nose right now. That's the bourbon notes are off the chain, and that's what I like to see. When they tell me it's bourbon barrel aged, I want to be able to smell that and taste that. A lot of beers you do not. This one, the bourbon notes are there. But it's not a huge beer. It's not a 12 or 13, 14%er. It's only 8.9%. That was awesome. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Robert. Thank you, my brother. And you can see the head is dissipated. It's gone. Bourbon notes are there. The alcohol is there too. The alcohol is not hidden. Even though it's only 8.9%, a little on the boozy side. A little heavy on the boozy side, so not as good as it probably could be or should be. But the bourbon notes are there. If you like the bourbon notes and taste, it's there. But it's got the booziness to go with this one. I've had 15%ers that were bourbon barrel aged who don't have that much alcohol presence as far as the nose and taste. It's a little boozy. It's a little on the thin side too, for almost a 9%. Decent beer, not outstanding world class, but decent beer. I do like a bourbon barrel beer, but this one is a little heavy on the alcohol and a little thin. I'm not getting any coffee notes. They've faded now. If they're there, they're very subtle. And that's what happens when you age a beer that's had coffee in the brewing process, and then on top of that they put it in a bourbon barrel for however long, and then the coffee still stays even more while it's setting in the barrel. So not sure I would purchase this beer if it was available here. There are some breweries that can make these beers a little better than what I'm tasting here. But I do like the big bourbon notes. But the booziness is there to go with those bourbon notes. So let me sip on it, let it come up to room temperature. Maybe we'll get some of those coffee notes once it warms up, and we'll see what we got. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on it for a while now. Not super impressed with this one. The coffee notes are not there. They've evaporated. You have that problem when you try to cellar a beer that's been brewed with coffee, and then on top of that they barrel aged it, in which the coffee fades while it's in the barrel. So not getting a lot of the coffee notes, guys. If you want to get those notes, you want to drink it fresh, and then still being a bourbon barrel aged, the coffee notes are going to fade while it's sitting in the barrel. So sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. So this one, not getting them. Very one-dimensional. The bourbon notes are definitely there. They're very prominent, but it's very thin on the mouthfeel. Not super impressed. Probably not something that I would purchase here if it was available here. Final chug. If you're drinking a beer just for the bourbon notes, this has got big bourbon notes. But it's got a little bit of the booziness to go with that. So it's not quite as good as it could or should be. To me, guys, it's a B+ beer, and that's where I'm going to put it. 88 from me on this one. It was a tasty beer, but very thin mouthfeel and a little heavy on the booziness. So, and Beer Advocate didn't even have it listed. They had the black label, or the Black Bayou, but not the black label version, the bourbon barrel version of that Black Bayou. So here's what it is. There's only 41 ratings on this beer on Untapped. So I don't understand why there's so few ratings on Untapped on a beer that was produced last year. But it is what it is there, guys. So, and they have it at 3.84, which is in their B+ range also. So it's unanimous there. It's a B+ beer. A little on the boozy side, but big bourbon notes. No coffee. I'm not getting any coffee at all on this one. So glad I got to try it. Now, thanks to Robert for sending it to me. I do appreciate it, sir. If you've had the Black Label, which is the bourbon barrel aged version of their Black Bayou, let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.